In my opinion,
Yeah.
although on paper it's $250,000,
Okay.
when I look at the new regulation of valuations and when I look at the information we are seeing from the market of actual valuations coming back,
Okay.
I'd say the 250 has now moved up to 350.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk. We're here in the Istanbul office of Property Turkey with Cameron Deggin. Cameron, welcome back to the show. And we are coming at you with quite a controversial news. And there's a change in how properties are valued in Turkey, which may not mean a lot to you right now, but this change will certainly affect every single one operating in this market. Astrid has passed a new regulation with regards to the real estate valuation. The regulation states that the surveyors are now appointed randomly by the system from a pool of surveyors, unlike before. In the past, the surveyors were appointed by the buyer's side. And I brought Cameron Deggin here, and we prepared a quite comprehensive discussion as to what is a valuation report, a survey report also known as, and how it used to be undertaken, how it is going to be now, why did this change happen, and what are going to be some of the implications, and what are some of the things that our clients should be aware of.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, valuation report, as we call it, the survey's report. Very briefly, what it is, what is it, and what are some of its use cases?
Okay.
Mainly in our industry.
Okay. So a valuation report is a report prepared by a surveyor, a qualified surveyor, in order to value a real estate.
Okay.
Now, when we say value, how do you value? What base do you use?
Yeah.
There are several different bases of valuation. Just to name a few, you can value an asset at market value, which is, well, as it says, market value.
The going rate.
The going rate, if you were to buy a comparable property today in the open market under normal market conditions, how much would you pay? That's really, I guess, the best definition of market value. You can value a property at net realizable value basis. Mm-hmm. Net realizable value basis is a discounted form of the market rate. It basically assumes that you need to sell a property today because you're in a position whereby you need cash inflow, so circumstances are not very good. Mm-hmm. So you need to sell quickly. In other words, quick sale value. Quick sale values are always significantly lower than market value for obvious reasons. If you want to move an asset today very, very quickly, well, you're going to have to give a handsome discount to market to attract punters today.
Which is often cases in 15-20%.
Could be even higher. Now, there are other valuation bases, such as replacement cost base. This one looks at the cost of an asset. How much would it cost to replace this asset? If it's real estate, you would then look at the land price of a comparable property and how much it would cost to build a comparable property. It's called replacement cost. Now, the most commonly used valuation technique by surveyors in the current market circumstances in Turkey is market valuation, which is what surveyors in fact use here. Unless they are instructed otherwise, unless there are other circumstances to take into account, which would make a market valuation not quite appropriate for the circumstance.
Yeah, got it. Thank you very much for this.
That's
for
like
explaining
what evaluation
what a
is.
valuation report is. For
Yeah.
all concerned purposes, let's narrow the circle down and let's focus on us and our clients.
Yeah.
For our clients who are applying for citizenship, the government wants them to apply for a valuation report. Now, the change in the new regulation concerns that and changes exactly that. Can you please tell me how this used to be, and with this new change, how it is going to be now?
Okay. First of all, I think it's important to understand then that I believe around mid-2019, so 2 years now, 2 and a bit years, every foreign national purchasing a property in Turkey needs to have a surveyor's valuation attached to the title deed.
Okay.
That is not the case for Turkish citizens, by the way. So you can go and purchase a property, you don't need a valuation. Turks don't need a valuation. It's important to understand that. Really important to understand that for the question you asked. Okay? However, foreign nationals purchasing a property need to have a valuation report. Now, the valuation reports, from what I can see, by looking at quite a few valuation reports since last 2 years, because particularly for citizenship purposes, the valuation report plays a very, very important role.
Of course it does.
Most often, the valuation report dictates the base that is accepted for the citizenship purposes. In other words, the valuation report being, say, equivalent of $250,000 plus, qualifies the asset for citizenship. Correct. So the government would actually look at the value on the valuation report when considering that $250,000. So far, from what I could see, the valuation reports were done on what I would call market value base. So they would look at comparable assets, and they would look at, like I explained 5 minutes ago, how much would it cost to go out into the open market and buy the same property tomorrow in the open market under normal market conditions.
Yeah.
Market valuation.
What happens now is that under normal circumstances, the buyer's side would apply for,
and also the surveyor.
report.
The surveyor
Yes.
would be appointed by the buyer or the seller. But the important thing is that you had control over who you would appoint as the surveyor. Now that's important.
Yeah.
Now, fairly recently, new regulations came in, and I'd like to talk very briefly as to why the government did this. Okay, a bit later.
Would you please say what the regulation is?
The regulation is that, one, you as the buyer or the seller can no longer appoint the surveyor. What you have to do is you have to request a surveyor to be appointed by the government, by the relevant government office, and they would pick at random and send you a surveyor. So till the moment that the surveyor arrives to carry out the valuation, you do not know who is appointed.
Correct.
Do you see what they're getting at here?
Yes.
They're basically breaking the familiarity. So they're basically trying to prevent any form of collaboration or corruption. Okay? Which is very, very good news, in fact, for the credibility of the market.
Great news.
Okay?
Yes.
However, there's a bit of a flip side, which we'll talk about.
Let me just ask you.
Now, okay, sorry, but the continuation of your question. So, the difference, the new regulation, is not just who appoints the surveyor.
Yes.
Which means you can no longer have a friendly surveyor.
Okay.
However, the way that they're valuing these assets is no longer the same either.
Because now it's the government.
We have already. It's not just because it's the government, but I think there's a policy.
Okay.
I think there's a policy there. Because we are already seeing some of these reports coming under the new regulations.
Yes.
Like we had 3 of them yesterday, I think 2 of them today, and one of our guys looked at a few other reports. When I look at these reports and when I look at the market values, I can clearly see that these new valuations are not done on market value base.
Yeah.
They're done on what I would call net realizable value base. And net realizable value is always discounted to the market value.
Way more conservative.
Because it
than the market
assumes a quick sale. It assumes I need to sell now.
Yes.
Quick sale scenario, net realizable value. So what the government is doing is they're giving a discount to the value.
So are you saying the government is undervaluing properties, or?
That's what I see, yes.
Okay.
They are undervaluing these properties that are bought by foreign nationals, some of which, of those valuations, as we know, form the basis for their citizenship applications.
Why do you think the Turkish government is doing that?
Okay, 2 reasons, in my opinion. One of them, I think, is solid. It's without a question. The other one, you could say, Cameron, this is speculative.
Okay, let's
The
see.
solid one. Do you remember 6 months ago, we did an episode of Straight Talk whereby we highlighted the scams that were being perpetuated in the citizenship process?
One of the ads that actually hit on my table.
Yes.
Said it
Yes.
says $250,000. There was a big red cross,
Yeah.
and there was
Basically,
$175,000.
basically, and this has been happening
Yes.
at a scale, unfortunately, much wider than we thought.
Yeah.
It's now coming to light.
People are underselling Turkish citizenship.
People were basically finding a way, possibly through friendly surveyors too, they were finding a way of selling assets at $100,000, $150,000, and somehow showing the value as $250,000.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, as a foreign national, you are investing far less than $250,000, but the paperwork that would go to the government would show as though you invested $250,000. So clearly a scam.
Yeah.
Now, the rate of these types of scams, I now understand, it was much higher than what we even thought.
Yeah, of course.
And we published 7-8 months ago.
I mean, just to reinforce what you just said, is in Esenyurt, these are the news that came to me yesterday. In Esenyurt, 22 citizenships have been revoked.
I know. 22 citizenships
22 citizenships.
have been revoked because
Yes.
the government was able to show
Yes.
that they abused the system. In other words, they invested far less than $250,000.
Yeah.
But they applied as if they invested 250. So they, in fact, revoked their citizenships.
Just
Now,
like what you said in the previous
and we did
episode.
say this
You
was
said
going to happen.
Exactly
we
the
did.
same thing.
We did say this was going to happen. So now the government is coming onto this in a harsh way. Okay, in a harsh way, by even providing a large discount to the market value.
Yes.
That's number one, which brings credibility to the market, in my opinion.
Which is actually a good thing.
Which is a
great
good thing.
Yeah.
Number two, which you could say, Cameron, this is speculative. Again, around 6 months ago, if you remember, we did air a straight talk saying that we expect before the end of 2021 the level of citizenship application to go up.
Yeah.
We didn't say to what amount because we don't have a crystal ball, but we did say that we believe the level would go up to say $350,000 or $500,000.
We actually speculated at 500,000.
We speculated. We even said that beyond 2021, maybe towards the end of 2022, the whole thing could be shut too, the whole citizenship thing. Now, it's my view that by discounting the valuations, they are effectively increasing the investment level. Because think about it. if, say, on a good day, you have a 20% discount at your valuation, which means that you are a foreign national
Yes.
coming to Turkey for citizenship. Okay? You invest X amount to buy a set of properties. The amount you invest is the market rate because you bought in the open market. The surveyor comes and values your property as a foreign national, and the valuation produces a discount of, say, 20%. That means that if you spent, say, $250,000 or $270,000, well, take a 20% discount of that, you will fall below the required $250,000 level.
You're going to stay somewhere in 210,
220.
Yeah.
Which means that if, on average, let's say, the discount rate will be 20%, that means you're going to have to spend around $320,000 in order to qualify for $250,000 citizenship. So in my speculative opinion, and it is my opinion, this is a way of the government slightly pushing up the investment level.
Well, yes, that is your opinion.
My opinion.
But you're actually, talking about a consequence. You're actually talking about the reality on the market right now. Do you remember how you used to always say that, guys, look, don't just invest 250, overshoot it a little bit, like go up to 260, 265, even 270 just
because
to be
there
safe.
were exchange differences, etc., etc.
Now you're saying with this valuation report and everything,
overshoot
if you
want to
be safe, you need to overshoot it, not 270, but 320, 330
in my opinion,
to be safe.
In my opinion, you need to overshoot it by no less than 20%.
Yes.
In order to develop, in order to end up with a valuation that will qualify for 250.
Yeah. So are you saying that the Turkish citizenship by investment, although on paper this is $250,000, in reality, it's risen up to 300, maybe 320. It's over $300,000.
In my opinion, although on paper it's $250,000. When I look at the new regulation of valuations and when I look at the information we are seeing from the market of actual valuations coming back, I'd say the 250 has now moved up to 350.
350.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, just to be safe.
Yeah.
I would. Okay, so this begs a question though. This begs another question. Say I invest instead of 250, 350.
Okay.
Is there a guarantee that the properties that I'm buying will be valued over $250,000 so I can be safe?
There is no guarantee, is there?
So I might...
Because I have seen valuations coming back 40% below market rate or 40% below actual purchase price. I'm no longer going to call it market rate because I'm now even suspecting that is the market rate. Because if it is 40%, then probably there was an inflated price there to start
somebody's
with. Okay, somebody overpaid for something.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I've seen valuations coming 40% below the actual price paid by people.
Which areas or which type of properties do you think that you're seeing a bigger amount of difference in the valuation?
Although I don't necessarily want to name, I think we're going to see the biggest amounts of differences in my most favorite areas, such as Esenyurt, Beylikdüzü, Başakşehir. And if you ask me why, and the reason is, when the surveyor comes in to look at the stock, the surveyor has comparatives that are way, way, way lower than what appears to be the market prices in those areas today. So he inevitably will produce a valuation that is going to be lower than the current apparent market values in those areas.
Correct. I mean, let me just reinforce what you said. First of all, I don't know if that is actually going to be the case. Again,
I don't know either.
You're speculating here. But just to reinforce what you just said, Do you remember our first episode, which is a rental guarantee?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How rental guarantee scam operates is it's not a scam, sorry, it's a scheme.
Scheme.
How it operates is exactly the same. What they do basically,
you inflate the price.
They inflate the price of the property. Say under normal circumstances the property would cost $200,000 or 175. They inflate it to $250,000. They sell it to you and they would tell you, we are going to give you a rental guarantee of a
10%.
rental return of a 10% for the next 3 years or 5 years or whatever. So they're basically paying your money back to you, which was a cashback offer. And when you look at the map, the concentration of these cashback offers, the rental guarantee schemes, are those areas. And this is one of the reasons why you would see the highest price difference. Not a price difference,
look,
but valuation
that's my
difference.
opinion. And I think in a few weeks' time, when we sit around and look at the valuations coming and compare them to actual prices paid, I think you will see that I'll be proven right. Yeah. Those areas are gonna deliver the biggest differences. Now, if you ask me where a client would be the safest, again, I'd say city center, but I'd say areas in the city center where the prices have not yet done a lot of premiums.
Yes.
In other words, again, urban regeneration areas where the comparatives are urban regenerated properties.
Yes.
Because when you look at the comparatives, because a surveyor always looks at comparatives.
Yes.
He has to, because that's the best way. But when you look at comparatives in an urban regeneration area, particularly in an area that is recently being urban regenerated, you will only be looking at a bunch of properties that are sold at similar prices.
Yes.
Do you understand why?
Yes.
Because it's being urban regenerated.
It's going to create its own level.
And it's a low entry level city center. So I think those are the types of areas where we are likely to see minimum differences in the valuations.
I think another type of areas where we would see the minimum type of differences are the areas where Turks are buying, where you have less foreigners, basically. Because let's face the fact that whenever you have an area where foreigners are buying heavily, the prices there go up.
Of course.
Okay.
And artificially sometimes.
And artificially in often cases.
Yeah.
So in order to get the minimum level of price difference in the value difference in the valuation report, I think I would look at areas such as, some areas on the Asian side. Kartal, for example.
Asian side. Do you know what I think? I think the star of the Asian side is going to rise so rapidly after this new regulation.
Really?
Because I think some of the areas on the Asian side are going to deliver very, very thin differences.
Yes.
Because it's all Turkish, because there has been no manipulations of price.
Yes.
And because on a like-for-like basis, when you compare the European side to the Asian side, prices are indeed low.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's see, remains to be seen. But again, these are our speculative opinions. We shall see in weeks and months to come.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole new regulation is going to cause quite a few upheavals in the market.
Yes.
I mean, I'm already reading some opinions of other agents and certain organizations, real estate organizations. They're basically very unhappy with what's happening because it's uncertainty. So in uncertain times, I'd say, if I'm a client, if I'm a potential foreign buyer, in uncertain times, I'd stick to, I'd stick to areas and types of properties that Turks major in. I wouldn't go too far to areas that are mainly built for foreign nationals, because those are the areas where you're likely to see the biggest differences in prices. Correct. So, again, my opinion, that's that. And maybe we should talk a little bit about, because when people watch this episode, and I'm pretty sure people don't even have to watch this episode, they would have heard about the news already, then they will probably, especially those who invested already, but have not yet applied for citizenship,
Yes.
haven't yet obtained their title deeds, which means the surveyor's reports haven't been done yet.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
They will obviously be panicking,
Yes.
particularly if their investment level was very close to 250.
So I
They'll
mean,
be
let me
panicking.
give you the good news as to what we are doing as
Go on.
Property Turkey to, to weather the storm with this. First of all, for our clients who have invested just over $250,000, which if we think that there's certainly going to be a value difference in the valuation, and if we suspect some clients who are going to fall behind, we have asked all of our advisors to give them a call to inform them beforehand so that they wouldn't face these types of problems. So if they need to invest more or cancel that property or go for another one, whatever the case may be, to get out of it from as less of a problem as possible. So that's one thing we're doing. Another thing we're doing is that we are creating a database of the properties and projects in certain areas. We are obtaining their valuation reports after the new law, because as you know, this new law passed last week.
Yeah.
So there's only a week of information that is out there. We have called our after sales department to give all of the developers a call to obtain the new valuation reports to see what the net realizable values of
to
those
see where the
developments
differences are.
Yes, and we are stacking them into our database to be able to advise better to our clients. So as Property Turkey, we are one of those who are better equipped to weather the storm in this situation, I'd say.
Then again, how about people who invested but who haven't yet obtained their valuations?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We are informing them. See, for example,
You can
I'm gonna
inform
give you
them
an example.
all you like, but
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is that if I am Mr. X who invested a month ago and I paid $260,000, hoping that I'll get at least $250,000 valuation, the chances are that my valuation now is going to be $220,000, so I'm not going to qualify for citizenship.
Then you will need to buy something more,
Unfortunately,
for
guys,
another property.
and I,
Well, at the end of the day,
Okay.
here's the thing: we are a real estate company. We are a real estate.
look, I know we are a
consultancy.
real estate company,
And
but
we're not the government itself. So
I know we
Yeah.
haven't done these. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. However, among our audience, I'm pretty sure there'll be quite a few people who are in that boat, who invested already and paid their money, yet they have not yet obtained their title deeds, meaning the surveyor hasn't yet visited. Now, guys, if your investments are around about $250,000 range, the chances are you will fall below $250,000. So
they will.
please, yes. So please start thinking as to what you wish to do. Your options are to buy a small property to top it up, or to cancel out of the deal. If you cancel out of the deal, you may very well lose 10-15% penalty,
Yeah, that's another
depending on your contract. So please start thinking along these lines,
Yes.
so that you can advise your advisors as to what to do. If you're our clients, I recommend get on the phone to your advisors and start building that dialogue as to what you wish to do, because the chances are you will be confronted with these circumstances.
Yes.
If your investment level was round about 250, if your investment level was 300 plus, I don't think you'll have issues. But if your investment level was, say, below 300, please think what you wish to do before it happens. Okay? So
That's it.
that's it.
That's all for now from us. And as we hear more about this matter,
We will
itself,
bring you. We will bring you the news.
We will
yeah.
give you the
Yeah.
updates Yeah, so in about a month's time, let's do another episode.
Let's do another episode and see where we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, guys. See you in the next one.
Okay.